Okay, folks, good evening. I know it's going to take a little bit of time for people to get in here, but we want to go ahead and get started. We've got a lot of stuff we could do tonight. I don't know if it's all going to happen. Out here in the outside studio, also known as a garage, where hopefully we left our airbrush in a condition that we can just fire it right back up and go. This is probably not what I should be working on right now, because I've got stuff inside, but that's not going to keep me awake. I'm like it's almost 8:30 at night, and I got half a mind to go to bed. But in order to stay awake, we're going to try to do something. We're going to try to do some airbrushing. So this is the airbrush how we left it. Whoops! That's not supposed to happen. Minor technical difficulties. I pulled on that. I wasn't supposed to. Whoops. There we go. Let's loosen that up. I don't remember the last time that's happened to me. Hold on 1 second. All right, let's try this again. Let's just pull the whole thing out. I see tonight has been a continuation of the frustration of all the bullshit that happened today. Probably the hardest thing about taking one of these apart is getting this button in the right place. Get off camera here a little bit. I'm pretty detail oriented, so if I'm struggling with it, it's a pain in the ass to do. You never have to take this part out. Like I said, and unfortunately I pulled it out without wanting to. I got so excited about filming stuff with you guys. Come on. There we go. All right, we got that in its place. All right, this puts it in. I'll stop filming tonight if it's gonna be like this. I'll go to bed. I ain't putting up with this shit. All right, as we were. Good Lord. All right, let's put the needle in here. All right. And what what I've started doing is I just test fit this in here. It's easier to make sure you got the right needle. You know, if I don't have the right needle, it's not a big deal. All right. And we're going to feed this in from the back. All right, now we're at the starting point. All right, so we're going to drop the needle in here in the front. And what we're going to do is we're going to be using primer. So that's relatively thick. And we're going to have to use a high PSI for that. All right. Man, what never happens, happens. All right, we're going to push that all the way back in. All right, now once we attach this hose, we can start connecting this. And, all right. And we're going to run this to about, for most airbrushing, I'm usually running about 20 PSI. We're going to be running probably somewhere north of 40. Because this stuff's pretty thick. And it's backwards. Sorry, nothing I can do about it. It just is. And we're going to go ahead and put our body cavity search glove on, so to speak. I made the mistake of buying some of these at the grocery store. And these are actually pretty poor quality. They tear pretty easy, but it keeps you from having to clean your hands with hand sanitizer more than you need to. We're running about 45. Oh yeah. Listen to it go! All right. So what I like to do is I like to put a little bit in here to make sure everything's working okay before we commit. And then find something that doesn't have any spray on it. Well, this is interesting because all right, we're working good. It's interesting, like none should be coming out. Like I'm not even pulling it back. I wonder if that's going to come and haunt me. Okay. I am not an airbrush expert. I can just get by. So what we're going to do is we're going to airbrush these 3D printed A13s first, because I've got one that I'm working on right now, and I couldn't work on more than one because these other ones weren't primed yet. So we're going to go ahead and hold this. It should not fall apart. And we got some wind over my shoulder, blowing all this stuff that way. You don't want to breathe this stuff in, but I'm not breathing any of it in. This worked like flawlessly the other day, so okay, that was just a little bit that we tested. So of course we're out. And how long I do this is going to depend on you guys, because I didn't think a lot of people were going to show up for regular painting. I said, well, I got to stay awake doing something. So yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why that is allowing me to spray even when I just press it down. Well, I don't want to tear the whole damn thing out right now. It is just the primer phase, so it's not super critical. And I didn't go on here to just work on my fucking airbrush. So it is because it's such a high PSI. Let's see if we can turn that down a little bit. The only reason I use it that much PSI is this stuff is pretty thick. Some people claim you can thin it with something and still use it. I don't think you can. I don't think you're supposed to. This product is meant to be used as is. It's not paint. It's, you know, it's primer. So, all right. And then the turret. For this one, we're going to need to get some of this stuff, which is always nice to have. This, they call this white tack. Sometimes it's blue tack, but blue tack's usually this color. It's not white. This is to put like posters up or something like that in your room without it being damaging the walls. And it works great for holding things so that they don't walk out on you. This is the one that's going to have the commander in it. One with the open turret. Probably need to get more of these alligator clips. These are super handy. They're running about 35 psi now. That's a little better. It's not coming out. It's not coming out unless I tell it to. But I am going to go ahead and move this because this is kind of in the middle of everything. This is my pile of stuff to work on. We got half tracks. We got some Czech 38 tanks there. We got a honey. The honey's going to be next. Yeah, we'll still need a little bit more of that. I'm going to tear this thing apart when it's time to when it gets a little gunky. And switch one thing 180 degrees, and I'm wondering if that's what's causing it. This almost to turn into a single action airbrush right now. Okay. Make sure this is secure. We don't want this falling on the ground and breaking potentially. Yeah, these airbrushes come with a thing on the back for the handle, and it's like, I see no point in putting that on. I would have to unscrew it every single time I go to clean this thing out. It's just unnecessary. I don't know why they think it's supposed to be more comfortable or something like that. I've never really found much of a use for that. I'm going to go back inside because I should have one more A13 and I don't see it here. Just one second. Okay, now I know why it wasn't with everything else, because somebody online this morning wanted to know what these look like, because I'm working on one of these right now. So I showed them this painted. I did it to myself. I'm actually going to tear this thing apart right now. I'm going to tear this apart because it's bugging me that just pressing the air down, I'm releasing paint on it. That shouldn't happen. Now, this primer, normally I wouldn't do this, but I like to, this stuff is really thick, and I don't need to blow any more of this through the airbrush than I already do. So I'm going to take just a paper towel, and we're going to get this stuff out. And then we only have a tiny little bit in the bottom. And that is what we will put our airbrush cleaner in that we made. And use the stiff brush that comes with the airbrush to work all that stuff out. Now that we will blow out through there. And you don't have to buy one of those expensive things. I just use a jug. Empty milk jug would work. Arizona iced tea Arnold Palmer works in this case. Okay. So we've got that out. Let's go ahead and let's move this somewhere safe where this isn't going to happen. And find out what exactly is going on here. What is the meaning of this? I'm going to remove the tip. And this actually, an airbrush is really easy to take apart. As long as I don't drop things on the ground and go around searching for them. Yeah, something queer is afoot there. That shouldn't be happening. That should not be happening. But I'm going to take this little thing and I'm going to spin it 180. So we need to get the air out of here. Worked like a charm last time. I may have reassembled this thing back afterwards. I really don't know which one of the two ways it goes. There's the button is round, but it does have a little notch that doesn't coincide with anything else. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to flip it 180. I'm going to flip it the other way. And let's see if I can avoid dropping this stuff on the ground. Like a fool. Okay, this takes the pressure off of it. It's clean. Now instead of, this is the thing that's the biggest pain in the butt on here. I'm going to pull that out and we're going to rotate it 180. And then we'll see if we can. I know that I can't. There we go. That That didn't take a lot of effort. Okay, we're going to push that back in and see if that makes a difference. It shouldn't, but who knows? I've only been doing this for a couple of years. Only doing this part for a couple of years. All right, now let's go ahead and build up some more air. And see if it, when we run paint through here, if it behaves the same way. Trial and error, man, trial and error. Message redacted. Changed your mind, huh? Let's try doing this. I'm going to take the needle. Push it in through the front. That way you're not playing with all that gook. Okay, pull it back. Nozzle goes in. This goes on top of that. And even though you can hand tighten this, you want to tighten it with a wrench. I had all kinds of problems, little annoying problems I was running into until I actually tightened it with a wrench. And just for good measure, we're going to take some hand sanitizer. Put a little bit of it on a paper towel. Hand sanitizer just melts the paint away. It just makes sure that tip is clean. And I bet it'll behave better now. Got to think positive. Okay, push the needle all the way in. And now this, I should just be getting air out when I just press it down. No, I don't know what's going on here. Well, hold on, that might just be air. There's a little bit of moisture to it. All right. Let's go back at it again. But that's the thing about the airbrush, man. It's trial and error. Oh, didn't work this time. Oh, do it again. So you want to minimize those things by making sure you don't have a siphon airbrush. Because, yeah, same thing. As soon as I press it down, it's acting like a single action airbrush. Like I can't start with zero. That's so freaking weird. All right, what if I dial this way the hell down? Still, I don't know what's going on with that. That's weird. I don't think that's ever happened to me. Oh well. Maybe it needs a vacation. Make sure we get up in the corners. Get the hard to reach places first. The easy to reach places are going to get reached without you even wanting to. Yep, we're out. But it's human nature to be going, let me do the whole thing so I can see what I'm doing. But the problem with that is you didn't reach any of the hard to reach places. This is in the wrong place. And then in order to reach the hard to reach places, when you already have paint everywhere, you're going to end up putting too much paint in the easy to reach places. And now, once we got all these nooks and crannies where it goes, now we can start putting it on the larger areas. Okay, now this one's done. Third tray. That's easy to do. I didn't know I could do that so easy. Put user in timeout. I had to, what do you call it? Snooze several people today. People had a woody for posting political things today on my feeds, and I don't want to have any of that. That's not what I use my social media for. So I'm just going to ignore you for 30 days. I don't know what you say. I don't know what you're saying. I mean, none of it gets my blood boiling. I just don't want to, I don't understand why people are so zealous about lies that get fed on the news, the internet, or whatever. They've gotten to the point where I don't trust anybody. Okay, those guys are done. So the next thing we have out here for the Brits are the honeys. And for those of you guys that don't know what a honey is, shame on you. It's an M3 Stewart. Light tank for the Americans that they lend-leased them to the Brits, and they liked them so much that they called them honeys. Because all the American tanks didn't have names. World War II was like it wasn't called a Sherman. It was called an M4 tank. The British gave them, names. And then they just stuck. I guess they weren't derogatory enough. They're derogatory enough. If they were derogatory, they probably wouldn't have stuck. They wouldn't have stuck. So all those names that World War II tanks or World War II vehicles for the Americans are named, all come from the British. Wolverine, Sherman, Stewart, Lee, Grant. These are all what the British call them. What's really annoying about the American nomenclature about things is there's an M1 rifle, an M1 tank, an M1 this, and it's like, you know, gets confusing. This is an M3 tank. There was also a light tank that was also M3. M3 was also a grease gun. M3 was also a half track. Like, dude, like, pick a different letter and a different number, man. There are other numbers. I understand you like the letter M and the numeral 3, but you know, the other letter number combinations are going to get really jealous. Pick other combinations. That's the turret for the M3. I am disturbed that I'm not able to get that to close up. I wonder if it's just a primer or it's on everything. That's totally not going to work on paint. On regular paint. Definitely not going to work for that. What else? We got some more. We've got a couple more alligator clips. Wait for some of these primer things to dry. Ooh, not that one. That one's a bit loose. We don't want this thing to fall off and hit the floor. Might shatter in a bunch of different pieces. Let's do these KFZ 13 armored cars. They almost look like they're a different scale, but they're not supposed to be. Ooh, that's not a good grab point. We'll use this one. Man, not a lot of people on tonight. I have some nights with bam, there'll be like 50 people on. I'm like, what's going on? That's too many. I'm not really sure what's happening. When you press straight down, all the way at the front, there shouldn't be any liquid coming out of it, and there is. Y yo no sé por qué. maybe what I'm thinking is, maybe I'm going about this a little wrong. Maybe what I need to do is pull this out. Maybe there's gunk at the end of this thing. Well, we know how we'll figure that out. Put a drop of that hand sanitizer in there and go in here with the scrubby. I did a complete teardown of this just before I clear coated my Africa Core stuff. I mean, I cleaned parts of the airbrush I'd never cleaned before. And then I did a clear coat. And then maybe I left some of the clear coat in there. I mean, it works. It's not like it's not working. It's just not working like it should. Now, this is interesting. There is some stuff in there that I've in places I've never seen before. Let's grab our but if you're using acrylics, just Purell hand sanitizer will eat that stuff right up. It like literally like melts the paint. Let's see, where's the super rears? I don't think that that's paint. This thing's pretty darn clean. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Is Portland stone out here? It is. All right, we're going to this is the tip that goes on the 0.35. So let's just punt on this. We don't need any of these. We don't need any of those French vehicles right this second. We're doing North African stuff. Okay, now it's operating like it's supposed to. How weird. Okay. Yeah, nothing when I press down and then pull back. That's how it should operate. going to, so this is running about 25 psi, we're going to drop this to about 15. Because we're not going to use this thick stuff. We primed the things that we needed. Other stuff just extra. Let's get the Portland stone, which is one of the tones that the British use in the desert. One of the base colors that they use in the desert. And what we're going to do is we're going to add what I call pre-shading. We're going to base color it, and then we're going to add some extra little shadows in there for yucks, for free. Just add a couple drops, make sure everything's running okay. You don't have to thin this paint. This Ammo MIG is great. It says it's for airbrushing and hand painting. It's not worth a damn for hand painting. Yep, we're not getting anything when I'm pushing it down. Okay, perfect. And maybe a little bit less. All right. So what I like to do is I'm going to cover this whole thing in a really light dusting of this color. So it's still going to look like it's dark gray. So we're just putting a light layer in this. Why is it running so much if it's a really low pressure? It's going to go over the whole thing. If it'll let me. And once you have that, then you can go in and actually add more paint in the raised areas, or areas that are going to pick up the light. You know, so you're looking at something like that. Okay, so this is what we end up with. And it's probably not that noticeable because we have this light that is super bright. We've got some shading there. Okay, so we're going to set this off to the side. And let's do another hole. Man, it's been a really quiet evening. Really, really quiet. Really, really quiet. Now, 1 second here. Let's try one of these things. Oh, these aren't bad. And no, it's not an adult beverage. I'd fall asleep. I can't really consume adult beverages and work on my hobby. I don't need to. I need to have them at work, not now. The PSI at. It's a little too low. Let's put that up a little bit. Now, what PSI you're spraying at depends on how thick your paint is. Yeah, this actually worked a little better. And you know, you could do this without the airbrush, because I do a lot of my work without airbrush. Airbrush just makes it quicker. Not necessarily better, quicker. too. Okay, the third one. How are we doing on paint here? A little more. This one. Yeah, we're going to bed after we're done with this stuff that we're doing. I wanted to do a couple of these this morning, but only had one primed. I should say only one A13. I'll be out here about an hour. An hour or one comment, and it was redacted. Slow night. It's a Friday night, man. We're doing Friday night stuff. Yeah, my Friday night stuff is don't go out. Have to fight too many people on Friday night. I'm tired from the week. Really tired in particular from this week. Quiet crowd, yeah, man. How you been, Maroon? I figured this would have more activity than just sitting there painting the base colors on stuff. Yeah, but I stand to be corrected. I only needed interaction because I'm falling asleep. I didn't want to make any coffee, and that's usually what it takes. I gotta like make coffee. Like, yeah, but that'll mess up my whole sleeping pattern up completely. I'll go to bed, but I'll wake up like every hour and a half. Like, what? Have all kinds of problems I've solved in my sleep, and they're all fake problems. Been doing all right coming back from a modeling hiatus. Yeah, we can't have one of those. We got too many things to do. We got too many things. I think I'm gonna pick up. I think I'm gonna go to the old hobby. I got to go to the Hobby Lobby anyways tomorrow. I think I'm going to pick up some more alligator clips. Some of these have gone the way of the dodo, and we don't want to lose one of our tanks on the ground. Okay, this one's good. All right, here is the honey. Le honey. How are we doing on paint? Okay. The other two honeys, these come in a pack of 3, and the other 2 honeys are already primed. These happen to be from Plastic Soldier Company. And I bet these are going to be some of my favorite tanks. I like honeys to begin with. Got plenty of work on, but I got a lot done recently too. Plenty to get back to. It's never ending, is it? What scale do you work in? Mostly unfinished or just waiting to be open things. Oh, you gotta open them. You gotta open them. Even if you don't start working on them, you gotta open them, see what's in there. You almost only do 176. I noticed you said 176 as opposed to 172nd. I do both of those. I prefer 72nd, only because the figures are usually oversized. So they have a really hard time trying to fit in one of those vehicles. Well, I was a little disappointed that I rushed outside. I've been waiting all week to take pictures of my Africa Corps stuff, which I finally did last night, because I wanted to take pictures outside, and I finally got around to doing that yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Days starting to blend together. And it didn't turn out as well as actually painting them indoors, the colors indoors. Now, this particular one, it had the open hatch, but it didn't have the details of something propping the hatch open. So I did some research and I found out that there was like, I don't know if you could see it. There you go. There's a good picture of it. I ended up taking a piece of wire and putting it as almost like a kickstand for the hatch. That's as far down as it'll go. It doesn't go like horizontal. It doesn't go past the horizontal, certainly. All the honeys will be in counter scheme. There's the turret to the honey. Got some Stewart's done a while ago, except for a European theater. I happen to like them. I happen to like them a lot. All right, and then 3 turrets for the A13s, and then we're going to call it a night. I never built any of the Matchbox kits. I never had any Matchbox tanks that I built. That's 176th. And who else is 176? I think a couple of Airfix things are actually 176 scale. That company MMS makes things out of resin. MMS? Millicast, I'm sorry. MMS was 172nd. Millicast. All my T-34-76s and 85s are basically, what is it saying? Yeah, T-34-76s and T-34-85s are all 176 scale. MMS. Is MMS 176? I thought they were 172nd. I could be wrong. And there's one other person that's 76th. Let me think what it is. Oh, Cromwell. Cromwell was wonderful. But Cromwell stuff is as good as the stuff Ron designs 3D printed. I mean, Cromwell was that good. I had a Tiger that I held on to forever. A Tiger 1 late with the steel road wheels. And I did finish it last year. I was so leery of doing it because The Cromwell stuff is just absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Come on, Tony. You got 2 turrets to do. Do it. I'm like falling asleep here. I've been up since 5 a.m., so still shouldn't be full. This is what happens when you don't have coffee. Yeah, you're right. Fujimi's 176. I had this idea that I thought Fujimi was really good, but honestly, I got several Fujimi things, and they're kind of crappy. I think the box art on the Fujimi was just really good. Talk to you into buying stuff. Got here. Winchester Super X. How you doing? I'm doing great, man. Well, I'm falling asleep actually. The plastic is tough to work with, and the tracks solidify. Tracks solidify on MMS. Or, I don't like resin. I don't like resin because it's just so damn brittle. Had to replace. Oh, for your. Oh, okay. Yeah, for your Fujimi. I have a couple of Fujimis that turned out okay. I have a. I think it was an X something or else. It was the Stug, 3G. I have that one. I have a Panzer IV-J. That is actually a really nice model, even though it's 176. It's really a nice model as long as you don't use those shirts and that look like they're made out of mesh, which they're supposed to be, but they made them solid with like a mesh pattern. So let's just say we didn't put the side shirts on the tank. We didn't put the side shirts in on the tank. What else do I have? This 170. Like I said, all of my Skytrek / Hinchcliffe T-34s that I got at the estate sale, they're all 176 scale. And I don't regret that at all because I got them really, really cheap. And I painted a fair amount of them too. It's not like, oh, I got them and didn't do anything with them. That's going to be paintings. I've got to cut out because other than me falling asleep, I really don't want to go and do more primer at this point. But now we've got the honey and the 3 A13s that we can do. I've got 2 more honeys already done. I'm already primed. Actually, they're already to this point. They've got the shade stuff on them. Those will all have counter schemes and names. And I'm probably going to make up names using the parameters that the other ones have. I'm probably going to name them Not pictures that there's any kind of reference to. There's enough different ones that should be fun to do. All right, let's take this out. Yeah, it was a slow night, but that's okay. You know, who the hell wants to hang out on a Friday night with yours truly? I just know that it's the one night that I don't want to go out and do anything. We're tired. We went out to dinner, which is something we don't usually do. My favorite song. Just easier to keep that stuff clean than. Okay, turn this off because we no longer need that. You're going to end up on the floor anyways, huh? Okay. All right. So that's what we did. We got a whole bunch of other stuff out here to do at a later date. But the main thing I wanted to do was these British vehicles. And at least get the first coat on them. All right, folks. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.